In this module, I will be talking about the context building activities. Context building activities in pre-task activity play the most important role. In the context building activities, we're presenting the context through pictures, audio, visual materials, realia, excursion, field trips, guest speakers, etc. The purpose of all of that interaction, the purpose of all of that preparation is to establish the social purpose through discussion and survey. In it, we go through lots of cross-cultural activities, such as comparing differences between the use of text in two different cultures. And let me explain to you the idea of, particularly for speaking and also for listening. This is very, very important to notice that in talk as interaction with the friend varies from the talk as interaction varies in England that we talk as in interacting in Pakistan. So therefore, we have to come up with making comparisons between two different cultures and trying to know that for further understanding. As we know that English is an international language, so we have to make it very necessary for people to learn about lots of other cultures. So therefore, cross-cultural activities also be a part of English language teaching, no matter what country, or in this country, in Pakistan. It is also necessary to say that these differentiations varies. Let me give you one example of this. Now, a friendship, for example, ongoing friendship between people in Pakistan and people in England are different. Let me give you an example of this. For example, in Pakistan, I am very close friend to you. We have sort of ongoing friendship for ages. And suddenly, I just want to go to the cinema to watch movie, and I call you and say, hey, hello, would you come down to go for watch movie with me? So as my friend, you wouldn't refuse that. This is because we have very close relationship. No matter you want it, you don't want it. Maybe your heart just telling you not to go, but you can't refuse it because ongoing friendship is very important than doing your personal wish. On the other hand, that doesn't happen in ongoing friendship in England. In England, if a friend call another friend to ask him that let's go to a movie, no matter how much close friend he or she is, they can refuse them anytime. Sorry, I can't go with you. I don't want to go. Because I don't want to go, that's why I don't want to go. So therefore, the similarity and differentiation in cross-cultural sort of interaction are there, and we also have to be noticing those in our English language teaching classes. Further, comparing a job interview with a complex spoken exchange involving close friends or work colleagues or to strangers. So it is different that you talk to a friend or then you talk to a colleague in your office. Then you talk to a stranger on the street. And it's make it difficult for teachers to differentiate in sort of looking for words, because a stranger meeting you sounds different. Then a friends come to you, you are very happy and you easily can communicate with him. And then this is because your familiarity with the friends on lots of issue is there. But with a stranger, it's not possible to communicate. Therefore, to plan it in the classroom, it has to be goes through different sort of register for all sort of communication. Further, in this lecture, I would talk phase 2, modeling and deconstructing the text. So deconstructing and modeling the text are very, very important practice in the pre-task activities in the classroom. Students are looking into models of the text. They are looking for the structure of it, and they're going deeper into it, trying to deconstruct it. By deconstructing it, give them lots of ideas. By making ideas negative and positive, both can let them know both sides. They can make a sort of equation to the idea are on the right side or the left side, or positive or negative. And that helped them to make more creative, to look at a sort of symmetric relationship to the variety of contexts in interaction, particularly in communication. So in this stage, students investigate the structural pattern and language features of the model. Compare the model with other examples of the same text type. According to Fees and Joyce, modeling and deconstructing are undertaken at both the whole text, clauses, and expression levels. It is at this stage that many traditional ESL language teaching activities come into their own. And it is true, because once you have tried to starting deconstructing a text, so you're changing the synonyms of that text. Once you change the synonym of that text, if that text is talking something good about in the cultural context, that automatically transfers to something bad. So this is a sort of idea that came by Derrida in some year in the past, and he came up with this idea, which is a very, very helpful and useful idea that if we're using it in the classroom practice, can help us to bring sort of thorough understanding, deeper understanding, through which we can become more creative to create our own models. The next phase is 3, joint construction of the text. In this stage, students begin to contribute to the construction of the whole examples of the text type. The teacher gradually reduces his participation in constructing as the students are progressing, students trying to control the text independently. And therefore, the teacher's participation is reducing from the construction of the text. The next activities is joint construction. In it, teacher questioning, discussing, editing, whole class construction, then scribing that on the blackboard. In it, teachers are drawing a skeleton of the text. He also planning through students some jigsaws and information gap activities. In it, students also working in a small group constructing a sort of a test, self-assessment and peer assessment activities. The next phase is 4. It's independent construction of the text. In this stage, students work independently with the text. Independent construction of the text. So it has 2 parts. One is sort of a listening task, which you listening to sort of recording, in which you are performing on the task of sequencing pictures, numbering, ticking, underlining materials on the worksheet, and answering questions. Listening and speaking tasks, for example, role plays and simulated and authentic dialogue is being made on the basis of that later. In the same phase 4, we also can go through a reading task as well. We read for a comprehension checks, and we also flow to the same sort of activity where we respond to a written material such as performing task, sequencing pictures, numbering, ticking, underlining material on the worksheet, and answering questions. Writing tasks which demand that students draft and present it to the whole class. So context building activity is the most important sort of activity that we do it in the classroom practice. And why we do it in the classroom practice, it has the role of sort of like a backbone to the pre-task activities where we can construct the model text and then use that model text for a variety of purposes.